decided to walk home. As they were walking home, it began to rain. Oh boy, it is raining so much. I'm very drenched. I'm as wet as a dog, a French dog. That is true. Brother, I think we should go home and change our wet clothes. But first, let's go buy some stinky cheese. Stinky cheese? No worries. I happen to have some stinky cheese in my pocket. Smell it. No, it's just stinky. Very good. So, they went home. Now remember, back then, there were no such things as dryers, right? Or washing machines. So they took their clothes off and hung them by the fire to dry.
They hung them by, and here's what they did. They took off their shirt. They took off their undershirt. They took off their shoes. They took off their socks. They took off their pantalones, which is French for pants. And yes, they took off their silky underpants. They took off their silky underpants. And put them by the fire. Silky underpants. There we go.
Yes, they put them by the fire, but then suddenly something happened. The underpants, they began to move. They filled with air, and they went up through the chimney.
It's true. Their underpants went up and floated over their house. Everybody, the brothers had discovered what we call the hot air balloon or the lighter than air aircraft. They had discovered that when air gets hot, this is what happens. Air is made up of little pieces. When these pieces get hotter, they get further apart from one another. We call that less dense. The colder, denser air on the outside actually helps to push off a hot air balloon up. Let's demonstrate.
Let's get that balloon. Yes, demonstrating is always better than talking, if you ask me.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we brought for you Lady Gaga's underpants.
Yay, eBay.
Yay, eBay. That's kind of creepy. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
This is just a balloon. It's just a balloon.
Just a little creepy.
All right, now remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to notice that we are not adding any air to this balloon. All we are doing is heating up the air that's inside of it. As you can see, the balloon is starting to fill up again. That means that those little pieces of air are starting to spread further away from each other. And you can actually see it happening right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give this a try. We're going to let go, and hopefully this is going to be really cool. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. You look like you're flying a kite. I love it. Wow. Don't worry, I got it. I got it right here. I got it. Wow, it's hot in here. Anyway, all right, very good. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that hot air goes one direction. It goes up. So if hot air goes up, then what direction does cold air go? Down. Hot air goes what direction? Cold air goes what direction? You know what we call that?
I do.
Science!
All right, but you know what? Hot air balloons are greatly affected by force number 3. We haven't talked about it. Let's talk about force number 3.
Yeah, force number 3 is a real drag, man.
In fact, everybody, force number 3 is called
Drag. Well,
we call it drag. Now listen,
There we go.
drag actually pushes us back. The bigger something is, the more pieces of air it hits, and the harder it is for it to go forward. So guess what? Hot air balloons are really big. They hit lots of pieces of air, which makes them very, very slow.
But of course, it's not always a bad thing.
No, in fact, sometimes we like drag, sometimes we do want to slow down. For instance, when we want to use a parachute.
Right, you know what? It's a good time to introduce my tiny Uncle Carl. Everybody say hi, tiny Uncle Carl. Yes, tiny Uncle Carl is a tiny little stunt man. And today he's going to do a tiny little stunt for you today. We have attached this parachute to the top of tiny Uncle Carl's head. I do not recommend attaching a parachute to the top of your head. But he's a stunt man, he's a professional.
He can do it.
So we're going to throw him up and hopefully his parachute's going to open and allow him
I think most of these people like to go fast.
Who likes to go fast? Who likes to go fast? Really? You have your driver's license already? That's good.
That's good, all right. So, listen, if we want to go fast, we have to talk about airplanes.
Right.
Airplanes. Now,
You know what, but before we get to airplanes, ladies and gentlemen, remember, airplanes are really heavy, and they're hard to get up off the ground.
They are.
So we have to understand something called air pressure.
air pressure.
Air pressure.
Let's talk about air pressure.
It's a good idea. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, air, of course, is around us all of the time. Everyone do me a favor, make an OK symbol just like this. Everybody do it. If everybody does it, no one looks silly. Very good. All right, so this is basically 1 square inch of space.
Square inch.
For every 1 square inch of space on your body, ladies and gentlemen, you have about 14.7 or almost 15 pounds of air pressing down on you in every direction. That means each one of us has thousands of pounds of air pressing down on us all the time.
And guess what? Air pressure is actually really strong. You don't normally notice it, but we're going to show you how strong it is. We need 2 strong volunteers.
You get one over there, I'll get one over here.
I need to see what size you're getting. What size?
All right, you get somebody over there. Let's see. Go ahead, pick.
I got this guy.
That guy right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got some miles.
Come on, glasses on right there.
Excellent.
Yeah, glasses on. Come on up.
You're very strong. Unlike Ninja Nate, he's a blue. All right. Yes. Okay. Here we go.
Here.
Now, a lot of people, I ask them what these look like, and they say, suction cups. Like, guess what? That's bad science. These are actually better called pressure cups. Ninja Nate, show them why.
All right, I'll show you. So, remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's air around these right now. Air pressure pushing down in every direction. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the cups and I'm going to push them together. As I do that, I'm squeezing out most of the air that is inside of the cups,
Right.
creating what we call a low pressure area inside the cups. There's not as much air in there now, so there's not as much air pressure pressing out. That means out here there's more air, so there's high air pressure out here. More air pressure pressing down. The only thing holding these guys together right now is the air on the outside pushing down in every direction. You guys look stronger than the air to me, so let's see. All right, I need you to grab this, both hands right there on the big handle. Both hands on the big handle right there, and I want you to pull. Go ahead, pull, man, pull. Okay, this isn't working.
Stop.
Wait. This isn't working. You know what, here, let me see. Let me try. All right, grab that, and ready, pull. This isn't working either.
It's not working. You know what?
It's not working.
I'm going to show the volunteers what to do. Grab that handle right there. Don't pull too hard. Grab that handle. Now, everyone see this little lever? Put your hands on that little lever right there, both of you. Squeeze that. And the air comes right apart and equalize the air pressure. Big round of applause for our
Big
volunteers.
round of applause for the volunteers,
Excellent
ladies and
job.
gentlemen.
Excellent job.
There you go, and there you go.
There you
Good.
go.